You're not going to read. How long is your statement?
I sent it out last night. It's
we all got it.
Yeah,
we all got it. You don't have to read it.
We can just ask you questions.
Okay, absolutely.
And so, just give us a quick synopsis, Chad, as to why you're here and what's your problem, or the problem you have with Mr. Rathwell.
Well, the biggest problem that I have today is the fact that Mr. Rathwell has found it appropriate in his duties to harass me over the last 2 months through a variety of different means, when it culminated at the Wednesday Executive Committee meeting, and he approached me as the meeting was going on and confronted me, and I feel for my safety because of that. Everything else I was fine with, being jokes and all that kind of stuff up to this point, but when it happened like that in a public setting with media, public, councillors around, I cannot even imagine what he might do in a private setting.
So he confronted you, and what happened?
Basically, he came out to me. I had tweeted to him that I said after October I don't need your services anymore because of some other comments that he had made prior to that. And he didn't like that too much. He comes over to me, and I'm sitting watching the executive meeting. He comes over me, leaning over me with kind of an intimidating stance, and says, "Was that a threat?" And I said, "No, it's my option as mayor if I am elected, is it not?" And he said, "Well, yes, it is." And I said, "Well, then what else are we talking about here?" And then he said, "You know, you're pretty damn cocky or pretty damn arrogant, don't you think?" I said, "I'm sorry, I'm in the middle of a meeting right now. Can you please go and sit down?" And then he returned to his seat, stomping away.
Originally, you tweeted him that because you think that he's behind the fake Chad Novak account.
One of the several out there.
Yeah, well, the no proof at all. I guess. What are you basing that on?
No, one of the several fake accounts out there. Absolutely. I'm not accusing anybody at this point in time. I'm not charging anybody.
Your Twitter feed accuses them every day.
And exactly. But
so what's wrong with that? What's wrong with him being one of the contributors to a fake Chad
Novak?
When
he's doing that when it's on company time.
But you don't know it's him.
And that's why I'm not accusing him.
Actually,
you said that in your
your
statement.
Comment is Mr. Rathwell continues to harass me on at least one of the 6 fake Twitter accounts that have been created to intend to mock me.
Okay.
Those are your words in your statement.
Okay.
Mr. Rathwell continues to harass me, and on at least one of the 6 fake Twitter accounts that have been created and to intend to mock me. It sounds like you're very specifically accusing Mr. Rathwell of being behind
along
one
with
of the fake
Melissa
Twitter accounts.
Fiacco.
There are several indicators right now, and I am currently working with their employers and with the police to investigate this, to pinpoint it 100% accurately, to identify who the people are.
What's he saying? How is he intimidating you? If he is trash talking you on Twitter, what's he saying?
One of the first comments that he ever made to me, he was joking around with Chris Zarko on Twitter about bringing double downs, KFC double downs to an executive meeting. I said, well, and I thought it would be okay for me to joke around a little bit with him, because this is back 2 months ago. I didn't know who he was from a hole in the ground. And I just tweeted, well, why don't you bring some double downs to the next council meeting, bring it to the public, kind of kidding around. I thought that was okay. And he tweeted back to me, he says, once you're elected, we'll talk. And it was from that point on, continually going back and forth.
But how has his Twitter talk been threatening to you and enough for you to suggest you might get a restraining order?
I'll be printing those off and getting all the screen prints and everything. I'm bringing them to police tonight. I don't want to speak about specifics right now.
But you don't have a restraining order at this point?
I am pursuing it. I'm filing the police report tonight after work.
But how is Twitter trolling? I mean, restraining orders are for, often for women who are in abusive situations. There are women who are being abused. Don't you think you're taking the mickey out of the whole idea of a restraining order by doing it because someone tweeted you something mean?
I don't feel that a restraining order should be for either sex, male and female, regardless of. I have never, since the day I was born, I have never been a fighter. I do not choose to fight. I do not bring on fights. And I was afraid if I had confronted him at the executive meeting, he could have thrown a punch at me. And if that was that point, then there would have been a lot.
So is it the Twitter trash talk that you're most offended by, or was it what happened at the meeting?
The meeting was the big part.
And the
Twitter led up to it, but the meeting was the last straw.
And you don't think this is a strange reaction to what happened, or an overreacted?
I can absolutely understand why people might think it's a strange reaction. It might be an overreaction, but unless they live the life that I've led over the last 2 months, nobody can truly understand what I've gone through.
Why bother with it all? I mean, why not just concentrate on getting your name out there? Who cares about what some minions at City Hall are doing? I mean, you've got a fight for mayor against other candidates already. It goes through to October. It's just the summer. Why even bother and giving them even more attention, more anything? Why not just, what's the point of it all?
Well, the primary point of this was, as some may remember from my press conference 2 months ago, I made it very clear that I want to keep a clean campaign. And I honestly did not expect the reaction from City Hall as I have over the last 2 months. And I've been threatened with my job through online anonymous posts, anonymous tips through our security team.
Mark Rathwell as well, I assume?
I'm not going to name names.
But again, you already said in your statement, your work clearly thinks you are doing your work at work.
Absolutely.
They don't have a problem with it. You can get on and just campaign. Why, again, give some minions at City Hall any more fodder?
This isn't intended to be fodder. This is intended to be the final straw. This is intended to, come Monday, my campaign begins again. And none of this drama, none of this controversy will happen unless they choose to bring it on. I want to focus 100% on what I can bring to Regina.
You don't brought
seriously
this
do you
up
think
by bringing this up, right? So I mean, can't you see how this could be very negative towards your campaign? That how the public do you think going to view the fact that you're bringing a restraining order against some dude who trolled you on Twitter?
Absolutely, I understand how people can see that, and thankfully I've had many people approach me in person through anonymous emails, through phone calls, city employees that have told me that they are so very happy that someone is finally standing up to the powers that be in this city, because that has gone on far too long, and it's time someone stood up and made a point that we won't be putting up with. We want to lead by example for our children. Bullying is the #1 thing that we tell our children don't put up with. Why should I stand up there and put up with this kind of thing?
But again,
You don't-
doesn't your
You don't know
campaign
who's
become
bullying.
about that rather than you and your policies and being mayor to then get into City Hall and change the system?
Come Monday, that will be what my campaign will be. I feel if I don't do what I'm doing right now, that will continue to go on and get escalated more and more over the coming months, and I'll be losing track of what I want to actually tell Regina.
How seriously do you think the police will take your suggestion that you have an intent to get a restraining order?
They are 100% behind me so far. They've given me the papers to file the police report, and I'm going there tonight to discuss that with them. So.
But there's no guarantee you'll get one, though.
Absolutely no
because
guarantee.
It's a judge that issues one,
Absolutely.
right?
So I mean, I'm hoping that with my explanation, my full detailed police report that goes into it, that they will take that matter very seriously, because that is, after all, their responsibility as city police. And hopefully it will get to the point that I can get that piece of paper that some people think are useless, and at least protect my personal safety. That's my #1 concern, is my personal safety.
So
Going
Mr.
back to
Rathwell
the-
says that you're close to, getting sort of set up for a defamation, character assassination of him, and that he may turn the tables on you. What do you say to that?
My intent has never been to defame anybody, never to mock anybody, to put dirt on anybody. I've made that very clear on March 5th, and I continue to push that forward as my major strength here. I do not want to be a big crowd disturber in the city, but in the same regards, it needs to happen. The Old Boys Club is about to go the way of the dinosaur.
So you don't think this is a bad...
Without a restraining order, no proof of what part of the Old Boy Network is doing this, again, does it undermine your campaign?
Absolutely not. The proof is in the pudding, and that's where...
But you don't have any pudding.
The pudding will come.
But why not hold the news conference
There's
then
pudding,
when
there's
you
no
can
proof.
sit in
Because
front of us and say, I have a restraining
Search
order
forever.
because of all of these reasons, but right now you don't have proof of anything.
I have my own proof that I provided to the police. They will do their investigation, and they will determine what charges may be necessary.
And what if they don't determine
If they don't
that
determine-
the onus for a restraining order hasn't been met, that there is no crime committed here, then what happens?
Then at least Mr. Rathwell is very aware that I won't take this lying down. These kind of intimidation factors I can expect from other mayoral candidates. Perhaps down the road, I mean, politics is dirty, and that's what I've been told over and over and over again. And I intend to make sure that politics becomes clean. and it's going to be a dirty mess for the next few months, and I'm hoping that I can try my hardest to make sure that it stays as clean as possible.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, you don't think that this reflects badly on your campaign at all?
Sorry, man.
I could see how it could look like that from an outsider's, and you know, with the laughs, that's what I've been getting, and you know what? I've got a lot more support than negativity over the last couple days, so I appreciate that it can look negative for people, but I just ask that they actually take a look at what happened, wait for the police to actually do their investigation, and if charges are necessary, then let them.
Have you consulted like a PR firm or anything? Like, do you have a PR person that has approved this?
Why should I? Why listen to people that are going to tell me
because
that this could be good or this could be
tweets about
bad?
people having small penises in
I didn't
reply.
do that, actually.
Oh, you didn't?
No, I did
read
not.
the tweet.
That was the Hot Wheels Novak.
Yeah,
that
and
did
then
that.
you tweeted back and said, Mr. R, why are you telling people that you have a small one? You're a mayoral candidate. You wouldn't
Absolutely.
want to, I mean, you might want to consult someone on what you're putting out there.
I can appreciate that, and all I ask is that people. I do have a team behind me, and I want to be hands-on. That is my approach with my campaign. It's a grassroots approach. There are things that old school politics might think is stupid, crazy, negative, but I can assure you that at the worst case scenario, come October 24th, if it's the voting public that decides that that guy's not worth going into the mayor's seat, so be it. I'm willing to take that risk.
Now, back when we're talking about Moose Jaw, when you were talking about school closures and fighting against the multiplex, I mean, you were blogging similar things about, oh no, I'm getting all this character assassination, it's terrible, I'm withdrawing it, and you were very, almost seems as though you're taking a similar tack now. So, do you not think that perhaps you're being a little sensitive in both cases, and perhaps this is just a repeat of what happened back in Moose Jaw? And
it's an exact repeat. It's an exact repeat, and that's why this is why I'm taking the steps I am now, because I dealt with that stuff and I got beat down. I took the intimidation, and you know what? I said this is enough. I'm just gonna go by the wayside. This time I'm not gonna just go quietly into that good night. It's time to actually stand up and make sure that things are actually happening and changes made.
You think you're a role model?
If people want to look up to me that way, I hope so. I mean, that's their choice. Like I said to many people already, you know, you all have your own voice. You all have your own independent thoughts. Don't let anybody ever tell you how to think or how to vote.
Well, again, why not wait to do this until after the police investigation that you keep mentioning? Does it not give more weight to what you're saying to have the police behind you? Because again, you're in this position saying this without any proof whatsoever or any backing from the police, apart from saying tonight their investigation will begin. Why not wait until it's been determined to then do this?
Well, my main reason is that I want to get on with things. I want to get on with business. My campaign is important to me, and I don't want to have to continually go into work, my full-time work, that I might lose my job the next day because somebody reported me for online activity, even though I don't do it during work hours. I mean, I take that very seriously. Our security team took that very seriously, and they are 100% supportive that I have not done any wrongdoing. And I want it done now, so that Monday when I do my new press conference that was originally scheduled to do my Regina Renewal Project, my own version of the Regina Revitalization Initiative, I want people to look at that. I don't want them saying, well, look at what this fake Chad Novak, this Hot Wheels Novak is doing on your Twitter. What do you think about that?
It's not going to stop because you get a restraining order.
I understand, but it all starts somewhere. It all starts somewhere, so.
If you did get a restraining order, and I'm sorry to use hypotheticals, but given that City Hall is Mr. Rathrell's place of work, legally he's allowed to be at his work. It would be you, in essence, going to a council meeting or a committee meeting. So what happens then? Because he has a right to be there. It's his place of work.
Well, after hours at 5:30 when the city council starts, that's what I'm going to be asking the police tonight about, as far as how that's all going to play out. I will abide by whatever rules are set out. Since it is after hours of regular work for him, I don't feel that it would be appropriate for him to be in those buildings.
As council, if the mayor is there, absolutely, that's part of his duty. It's not a 9-to-5 job, an EA for a mayor.
Then I guess I will have to try and follow as far as those rules go. And if I'm notified that he will be there, then I will not be at council. Unless I am asking to delegate, then I'm hoping that the city administration will at least try and work something out that's mutually agreeable.
You don't think that would be detrimental to everything you're trying to do?
No.
No.
What do you think of this fake Chad Novak site? What do you think of that in general terms?
Quite honestly, I'm you know, it started out hilarious because I 2 months ago, nobody even knew who I was. It's gotten to the point that people are creating fake Twitter accounts in my name. I didn't even know what Twitter really was 2 months ago. I had an account, I never used it for my own personal.
But what do you think of it? What do you think of the pot shots they take at you?
As long as they keep it clean and it's not individuals doing it on work time in a public light, I welcome it. I mean, it's funny, you know.
Are you
I mean,
saying
You're
it
not a-
helped you? Did you, just so I can clarify, are you saying this has helped you in a small way because no one 2 months ago knew who you were and now they do?
well, as hard as I hate to say it, absolutely, it's helped me. And
So why get a restraining order again? What's the point of all of it if it's in essence helped you?
because as much as it's helped me, it's also hurt me personally, and I don't want to end up in a position where I might lose my job or I might end up in a position that I just don't want to be in. I want to continue my campaign looking at myself and looking at what Regina wants, and I want to continue that path.
But to be clear, it's because Mark Rathwell approached you at the committee meeting. That's why your intent is to get a restraining order. It's not about the
Absolutely.
Twitter trash talk.
Absolutely.
But he never
100%.
once threatened you with anything.
Not direct threats, no.
But it's that. It's that.
It's that confrontation that absolutely promoted me to, or provoked me
Because
to.
you told him he'd be out of a job in October.
Yeah.
Isn't that the same thing? I mean, you're talking about maybe losing your job, and that just bothers you.
Well, no, because there's two different worlds there. One, that's the truth when I tell him that, because come October, I have the right to choose my own staff. And two, when he goes and accuses me, or
You have
allegedly
no
accuses me,
idea.
when somebody accuses me through my security team and says that I'm using work resources, I find that a
But we're
very
talking
serious
about the
allegation.
confrontation at City Hall.
Okay.
Correct?
Could you clarify?
Twitter didn't tell.
When you said he leaned
Yeah.
over your shoulder
Leaned over your
and
shoulder.
said
That's what we're
something
talking about.
mean.
That confrontation.
Right?
Yeah. And you went on into the Twitter stuff
Didn't
to
didn't you
justify the fact, you know.
So what's
I'm
the
not
didn't you threaten him first?
Yeah.
No, it's not a threat. It's a fact. I mean, come October, if I am elected mayor, I can pick my own staff.
Did
I
you-
don't consider that a threat.
Do you feel physically threatened by Mark Rathwell?
100% yes. I didn't know him like in person. I only knew him through pictures before Wednesday. So I honestly didn't know what he looked like, what stature he was, and everything. After Wednesday, when I see that he is a bigger man, yeah, I'm a bigger man myself, but you know what? I don't have the muscle behind me. So I mean, that part scared me. You know, just having his intimidating nature over my physical presence.
You said in your statement that you feel like your life is in jeopardy. Do you actually think he's going to murder you?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. Based on the fact of what he did on Wednesday in front of the entire.
Talk to you.
I'm sorry.
Talk to you.
You think he asked you?
It's more than talk.
Asked you if you were threatening him,
It's more than.
and then told you you
It's
were
the
arrogant.
approach that was happening. But regardless, if he's willing to do something like that in a public forum, while an executive committee meeting is going on where he is being paid to be in attendance, and in front of rolling video cameras, media, everybody, I really honestly cannot tell you what this man might be capable of in a private setting. And that is why I feel that I need this restraining order to protect myself and my family.
I mean, some people may look at this and say, well, it's just Twitter trolling. He's been a whiny little crybaby about this. What would your reaction to that be?
My reaction to that would be that it's not just about the Twitter. It started with Twitter, and I said before, I'm fine with a little bit of, playful joking around and stuff, but when it crosses the line, that's when things need to escalate to where I am today.
So you're heading up to the police next with some pieces of paper, is that right?
Well, thankfully, my employer was very nice to let me have the afternoon off with vacation, so I'm going to go home and work on the statement and then bring it to them right after that.
Now, here's a question for you. You work for SaskTel, right?
That's correct.
Okay. A friend of mine works for SaskTel, and he ran for MHA. MLA, what do you call it in this?
MLA.
MLA. Now, he actually had to take a leave of absence in order to do that from SaskTel. Why is it that you're being able to continue your employment when other people running for office haven't been able to do that?
You can take a 4-month leave of absence to run for any position like city, provincial, or federal. It's my choice right now, and I've discussed it with my employer that right now, I mean, I'm only on a 1-year work term. I'm done in September, so theoretically I could be unemployed in September. So I mean, that's something I'm willing to take as a risk because the benefit far outweighs the risk.
Thanks so much.
Thank you very much.